Have you ever wondered why God created the devil? Maybe you think evil is random or just bad luck. But what if the struggle, the temptation, even the devil himself was by divine design? What if everything that challenges you, everything pushing you to your limits, is exactly what you need to achieve greatness? Stay with me, because today we're going to uncover the real reason God created the devil and how you can harness this knowledge to conquer every obstacle in your life and in business. You weren't born to play small. You were born to lead a movement. Let's talk about the price of that calling. Behind every legend, there was a coach. Michael Jordan had Tim Grover. Mike Tyson had Cus D'Amato. Michael Jackson had Cooley Jackson. Warren Buffett had Benjamin Graham. Alexander the Great had Aristotle. You didn't know their names until the world met the ones they coached. You may not know my name yet, but I'm Colin Nicholas George, and together we're gonna make you legendary. Years ago, I was at rock bottom, broke, lost, and overwhelmed. I had put everything into a business venture and it crashed spectacularly. Friends disappeared, bills piled up, and every day felt like another punch in the gut. One night, sitting alone in my empty apartment with barely enough to eat, I asked God in desperation, why is everything stacked against me? Why am I failing despite giving my all? Then, in that quiet, painful darkness, something incredible happened. It was as if I heard a voice deep within, clear and resonant. And it said to me, without the devil, you wouldn't know your strength. And I said to myself, wow, how profound. At first, I couldn't grasp it. How could pain and failure ever be beneficial? But I sat there, reflecting deeply. The struggles I was facing weren't random, they were lessons in disguise. Opportunities to build resilience, clarity, genuine strength. My biggest adversities were teaching me discipline, humility, and unwavering determination. As I started viewing every setback as a divine assignment rather than punishment, my mindset shifted dramatically. The hardships that had crushed me began to empower me. Each failure became a stepping stone, pushing me forward and upward. Slowly, my circumstances began to change, not by magic, but because I had fundamentally changed how I responded to challenges. I learned to use every obstacle as a fuel for growth, transforming my life and revitalizing my business. This profound realization didn't just rescue me, it reshaped me, refueled me, and actually made me into a different human being. I call this evolution. Let's simplify this powerful idea. Psychologically, God and the devil represent the internal duality within us, our higher aspirations versus our lower temptations. The devil symbolizes our distractions, our doubts, our fears, and short-term comforts, while God represents discipline, clarity, purpose, and long-term vision. Now think about it. Without temptation, there's no discipline. Without challenge, there's no victory. Without darkness, light means nothing. When you see challenges as tests rather than punishment, your entire mindset shifts. This reframing transforms obstacles into stepping stones towards growth. So, how do we practically overcome this psychological warfare in life and business? If you're feeling this message, make sure to like, comment below, and hit the subscribe button for weekly insights. Now, here are some actionable steps to actually help you through life and business. Number one, identify your devil. Clearly define your distractions and weaknesses. So for instance, a lot of weaknesses for me was Instagram, going on YouTube too long, okay? Getting distracted with soccer, watching basketball, a lot of these things. I realized a lot of these things were massive distractions for me, and I had to keep them under wraps. And I've gone through periods where I didn't watch it at all, and then all of a sudden I would binge watch each, and I started to realize that I needed to live above the demon. Not remove it, but understand that I need to manage it. I need to be above these things. So I would actually allot time for specific things. So if I wanted to watch my soccer, I would make sure it's allotted in specific times. If I wanted to watch basketball again, I make sure I got a certain amount of work done prior so I felt like a reward. So I started identifying where all these problems were and what was leading me to actually having issues within my business. And I started realizing it had nothing to do with the business. It had everything to do with the distractions, right? See, I have a family. I have a large family. I have 3 kids. I have a wife. The problem I had is, okay, if I have all of these distractions, well, now I have another distraction. I have family as a distraction because it's going to be very difficult for me to overcome certain obstacles. So I had to allot time for my family, allot time for, me time. And I just made sure it didn't go over a certain period. But identifying your devil will mean that you have to look at yourself in the mirror. You have to accept that you are wrong. In order to be right, you need to understand that you're wrong. So I told myself I was wrong. There's things that about me that I need to enhance and I need to change. So one of the biggest things for me was indiscriminate eating. I started to eat a little bit better. I'm doing a lot better than I was 6-7 months ago. And I go to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week. I run every single morning. I do certain things to help me identify and kind of find solutions for these distractions and weaknesses. I realized as well, one of my other weaknesses was temperament. So when things didn't go my way, my temper was high. And this is what things that happened to me when I was very young, especially early entrepreneurship. I used to get pissed off very, very quickly. And I realized I needed to control my emotions. Just growing up in a certain type of a household, you don't understand that these are weaknesses. You think they're strengths, but they're actually weaknesses. Number 2, implement discipline. I have a framework for life, and it starts, and it's going to be unconventional than what you heard all over social media, YouTube, and so forth. My disciplines had nothing to do with waking up early, doing certain things. It was more having structure in the basics. So for instance, I have a framework called the 3, 5s, and 8s. So the 3s, first one is smile, having eye contact, and enthusiasm. I found that in every facet of my life, whether it be business, whether it be family, okay, whether it be, friends, having those 3 things actually helped me exponentially. I started, smiling a lot more on my wife, smiling more on my friends, keeping eye contact with people, having more enthusiasm in my conversations, and I started actually networking with the right people. So I realized, okay, I could do more work, but if my attitude is bad, there's going to be a problem. So I had to fix the basics, and I learned the 3, 5s, and 8s. Actually, working at another company, I was doing door-to-door sales for not-for-profits at the time, and I learned the basics. I took the concept and elaborated on it significantly more, but this framework really helped my mentality in terms of the basics and the everyday speaking with people. Now, there's something called the 5s. Intro, short story, presentation, close. And you're like, well, how does that have to do with anything? Well, what I did is when I spoke to people, I made sure every single person that I spoke to led to something. So for instance, if I'm speaking to my wife, what is the goal with speaking to my wife? Is it for me to get comfort? Is it for me to get nurturing? Is it for her to feel safe? Is it for me to get clarity? Is it for, let's go grocery shopping? I understood that every single time I have a conversation with somebody, it needs to be structured, and it needs to be structured so that I can get my way, sell or be sold. So I realized that if I follow the fives, I could get my way more often than not. So what happened was when I started mastering this small concept, the fives, I started getting my way more often than not, and my temperament started to go down and down and down. And I started to be more calm. It's like, oh, I can sell my way through 90% of my life. How about I just do that? Now, for a lot of people, you're going to be like, well, I don't think that's appropriate. You can't sell everybody. You need to be genuine. Well, I genuinely want to win this game called life. So I can genuinely want to win this game of life, or I could be a pussy and have some morality for no reason, in which I'm going to get sold regardless outside. Somebody's selling you every single day on eating their fuck food. Somebody's selling you every day on not being a man. Somebody's selling you every day on feminism. Someone's selling you every day on homosexuality. Someone's selling you every single day on some bullshit that you gotta soak in. How about I sell people on me and get my way? I want you guys to think like that. So if you're listening to this, I want you to think, how about I learn skill sets so that I could get my way for everything in life? Okay? Now, in order to have that mentality, that goes into my next framework. I call it the eights. The first one is having a positive attitude. I realized having a positive attitude was the foundation of success for me. And I started to let me have momentum, okay? But what's next is maintaining the positive attitude. A lot of people have a positive attitude, but they're unable to maintain the positive attitude. So in order for me to maintain the positive attitude, I had to use the threes and fives, as well as I had to limit distractions. If you take it away completely, you're going to go on a binge and it's going to get you at some point. So what I realized is I need a little bit of it, not too much and not too little. It needs to be in that perfect time zone on an either daily basis, weekly basis, whatever it may be. So for you guys watching this, don't try to take away Netflix. Netflix, you will go on binges when you least expect it. Some emotional trigger will happen to you and you'll just watch Netflix all day. So you're better off, to be honest with you, just slightly doing these things. If you're going to eat discriminately, make it once a week. If you're going to do certain things, if you're going to have alcohol, don't have it every day. Just have a drink here and there. Don't completely take away things, because I find there's bigger devils out there. God's always testing you. Oh, you want to give up alcohol? I'm going to throw some in your fucking face. Hey, you want to give up this? You think you're better than people? I'm going to give you this. You're always going to get a challenge, but the discipline comes from understanding I need to be above my demons. I need to create routine. I need to create habit. Which goes into my next one, which is take control. You need to take control of who you are and your environment and the people surrounding it, okay? Those other ones like be on time, work full days, be prepared, and master your environment. So once you do these things, it's a lot easier to accomplish things in life. It's a lot easier to do certain things and not get distracted and actually accomplish your goals. And one thing I'll tell you guys is don't go cold turkey. What you need to do is take your time and take the steps. So one day just be better than the other rest, the next day be better than the rest, and so forth. Okay? So I want you to understand these things while you're doing these exercises. The third step is high performance habits. So, first one in the high performance habits, you need to seek clarity. You need to be clear on what your goals are. So if you guys see, well, you can't see, but my entire office here is all my goals, my territories I want to occupy, what I want to do with one business, another thing I want to do with one of my other businesses, and so forth. Surrounding my environment is everything I need to accomplish. So I have the clarity to continue to do these things. And that helps me, which goes into my next point, which is generate positive energy. A lot of these states allow me to generate positive energy. It allows me to be enthusiastic about what I'm doing because I know what my goals are. I have so much clarity on the end goal. People find it scary. They're like, well, how the hell do you know all these things? Well, I know these things because I want to know these things. I know these things because I have a clear goal and picture. So one of the biggest things I recommend to you guys is seek clarity in order to generate positive energy. Okay? And next, you have to raise the necessity by connecting deeply to your goals. Okay? You have to be connected to your goals. You have to do affirmations. So I have a technique that I do every single day to connect to my goals. I do something called auto-suggestion, right? So if you want more details on my auto-suggestion, there's a link below and I can go into significantly more details about that. And that's where I'll give you all that information on auto-suggestion, how to apply it, and how to use it. Okay? So connecting with your goals is the number one thing you need to do in order to be successful. You have to connect, you got to get clarity, and you have to raise the energy levels. Point number 4, leverage your faith. Whether you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, trust that the challenges are divine assignments, not random punishments. That's something that really helped me. I really understood that, hey, this wasn't a punishment if I had lost money or deal didn't go through. It was just God saying, hey, my child, will learn a little bit more. Learn something that's going to get you even more money. I'm here. I'm guiding you. I want you to be the best possible. I want you to get to the highest level of consciousness. And in order to do that, I have to put obstacles in your way. Okay? But by incorporating these steps consistently creates momentum, turning your internal devils into powerful tools for success. You need adversity in order to be successful. They're not failures. They're learning lessons. Okay? Now is your moment. The truth is, awareness alone isn't enough. You have to act. You must act. If you're tired of being fooled into thinking obstacles control your destiny, it's time to reclaim your power. And in order for you to get this power back, you have to accept the truth. Freedom is slavery, and slavery is freedom. Sometimes you're going to have to be a slave to your goals. You're going to have to be a slave to the people around you. You're going to have to serve in order to acquire the freedom that you're looking for. Okay? I want you guys to take these lessons. Understand, God created the devil for a reason. And that reason is for you to get to the highest level of consciousness. Do not be fearful of the devil. Embrace the devil. Embrace the evil. Embrace the good inside you. Remember that. You have to understand what is right and wrong. Right and wrong is a construct that human beings created. And it's up to us to understand what we decide is good and what we decide is bad is a choice. And that choice resonates as we move throughout society. And trust me, what was bad 25, 30 years ago is now good in the light and the eyes of many. But the unfortunate truth is, if you follow the masses, you're going to fail. So you're better off not following the masses and understanding certain things need to have extreme precision. What do I mean by precision? I mean a direct understanding of what you want out of life, what the people around you want out of life, and what you are going to accomplish in this world. And you need to get clear on that immediately. So, comment your biggest takeaway and subscribe to unlock more transformational insights. Remember, God created the devil not to destroy you, but to reveal your greatness. Until next time, keep conquering. I'm Colin George, and I'm out.